but obviously making it clear for the UK users or Australian users here, we will tend to use about more in the States for certain expressions than we would in England and that's in Britain, and that's fine. So, for example, if you said he turned about, as in he turned round, yeah. Now, the example that is on the word reference there is actually in a tense, which is the passé simple. This is the book tense. So, if you looked at that, il se retourna, and you thought, what the hell kind of tense is that? That is the passé simple, and there is a video I have done on the passé simple, which is basically the literary. Mainly the literary French tense for books. I don't just mean fancy books, I mean like if you read Meghan Mogg or Harry Potter. All my Harry Potter people are going, Harry Potter is a fancy book, it's not a child's book. Good. So that would be se retourner, okay? So he turned round, or il a fait demi-tour. He did a half turn, we often say. Yeah, j'ai fait demi-tour, okay? The lake is approximately 3 miles about. This is getting a little bit archaic in language now. We wouldn't say that, okay? What that means is about, as in, you know, round, okay? De circonférence, in circumference. Or autour du lac, around the lake, okay? So we've got another word which we could possibly use in our about, as in autour de, around, which is figurative. We've talked about the difference in your translation between figurative language and literal language. So figurative language is language which is using words non-literally. So, for example, when you say, oh, I literally died, which is a very common thing for young people to say, you didn't. Okay? Figuratively, you died, as in you didn't actually, but you felt that way. So, if you say, what are we saying? Yes, so going back to autour de. So you could use autour de along with environ, along with à peu près, okay? Autour de is to the turn of, as in physically around. Okay, so around here, autour d'ici, I live around here, j'habite autour d'ici. Okay? If it means like in the area, then it depends where you are. So either dans le quartier, le coin, we say the corner, you know, for the area. La région, if it was bigger. Dans les environs, this time with an S, like I mentioned earlier. Yeah, so I live in the surroundings of Paris, les environs de Paris. Dans les parages, perfectly good French, little bit less common. Good. So that is another important one. Going on to if we had around something else again. So let's talk around physically. So for example, they put a fence around the swimming pool. Around as in going around, okay? So in that kind of way, let's just make sure we know autour de. So ils ont mis une piscine autour, so about the place, that kind of thing, okay? Lovely. There are lots of trees about the house and garden. Yeah, that's an English usage which really means throughout, doesn't it? There are lots of, you know, about the place. Could you stop leaving your towels about the place? Okay, then that would again, you know, be, so there are lots of trees about the house and garden. They translated with près de, à côté de, near to, or next to. For my mind, it's more across. Yeah, so it translates sort of poorly, because in French you're sort of saying near to here, or but it's not. It's sort of saying about the place means throughout the place. Yeah, so throughout is à travers, but it wouldn't be. You're just more likely to go with. Can you not leave your towels partout? Yeah, could you not leave them everywhere? Okay. Great. Any I've missed? We've got a more formal use of about, obviously like approximativement, approximately. Sur le point de, we've got I'm getting ready to is a nice one if you read down. So I'm about to go. If it's the idea of I'm preparing myself willingly to go and do something, je m'apprête à. So s'apprêter à, which is an ABC verb, okay? I will attach a link on how to do ABC verbs underneath. They are when you have a reflexive that you are going to use a preposition with. So I got ready for it, je m'y suis apprêté kind of thing. If you don't understand an ABC verb and you don't understand what I've just done by using E instead of A, then do not worry, you will watch the video underneath on ABC verbs. So he's about to arrive. Il va bientôt arriver. He's going to arrive soon. Okay? Soon. Okay? Sur le point that we've had again. An about face. We're getting into nouns with about now. Excuse me. Pardon me. You say in French, à tes souhaits, to your wishes. It comes from when people had the peste, which was the plague, and if somebody was sneezing, it meant that they were dying. So to your wishes means, what do you want before you cark it? So about turn, we've talked about. So volte-face, that is more to turn around. Figuratively, again, talking about figuratively, literally, so it's kind of like he used to completely support Donald Trump, now he doesn't, whatever. Il a fait une volte-face. Revirement, a virage is kind of like a bend in a road. So revirement is like he redirected his opinion. To turn literally, as in I turn around, I've already told you. Demi-tour, yeah, j'ai fait demi-tour. To agree with somebody about, it's just merely introducing the verb to agree, which is to put yourself in agreement, se mettre d'accord. And again, all it's doing is bringing in à propos de or sur, which are the object, the possibilities for about that we've previously seen. So I think we've pretty much... okay, so there's another one. Now this is coming on to a phrase that we'll be using in a minute in the video on thanks. So for example, I am pissed off about, or pissed about, I'm angry about, okay? Je suis fâché, je suis en colère, je suis énervé, à cause de would be because of, thanks to in a negative way. I can see how that would translate as about. So for example, à cause de. Now you should be noticing, Luke's just used an expression which ends in de, à cause de. So that would be a great opportunity. So if you said, I'm annoyed about the situation, fine, à cause de la situation, à cause de la situation. If you've got about the what happened, à cause de ce qui s'est passé, about something masculine, about the problem, à cause du problème. Yeah, do not forget, à cause de, or any de ending expression could go to du or de. I think we pretty much covered most of those. I'm apathetic towards, apathetic about. Ouais, je ne montre aucun intérêt. I don't show any interest pour. Okay, so some of these are getting a little bit, whilst you definitely use them, they're not the most common uses of about. I'm nervous about, j'appréhende de, so appréhender is to be apprehensive about, so that's a nice one to have, but not the most common expression. To argue about, se disputer à propos de. So again, you can see why à propos de often comes around as the winner for about, yeah, when you talk about theme, yeah, rather than topic, as in books and things. À propos de is kind of your winner. So to argue endlessly over, alors, so this is, most of these are giving you the verbs for the other thing rather than the word for the about. So ne pas arrêter de se disputer, so you've got to not stop. Arguing is a reflexive verb. About, so the bit that's actually talking about is au sujet de, like we've had previously, sur, like we've had previously, pour, meaning as a result of. Those of you that speak Spanish, and I know I have some Spanish speaking or Spanish learning followers, that would be like your use of por, yeah, as in as a result of, okay, in Spanish. Again, all over the place, like I said earlier, à travers, that one's showing up, which is more of a through. In all, look around and note everything you can see about the place, you know, regarde partout, we've had that before already. So I really just think we're repeating ourselves here, which is good, because it gives you an idea of which ones are the most common. So in short then, the main themes that we're talking about in today's video are the usages of about when you mean thematically, or I'm going to talk about something, and that is to be very aware that there are multiple words. So you have sur, à propos de itself, au sujet de, yada yada. To be mindful that they can end in de, which means du, des, as well as de là, or de l'eau, you know. So I want to talk to you about the hotel. Je voudrais vous parler à propos de l'hôtel, or de l'hôtel. So to be careful how we link these, to not always as a go-to just use à propos de, to be careful to use something else as well, whether that be de, sur, or any of the other ones we've mentioned. Also to be using about in terms of with information to make it less exact. We've talked about the different ways of doing that. So à peu près, not to say un peu près, to use environ, autour de, physically about the place, okay? Good, so I think we've largely covered these. Excellent. Any other questions about? And we've also talked about the verb il s'agit de and how that will work. Okay, and how that will work. So any other questions about anything I've mentioned or about, then do please add them underneath or email me at logiclanguagelearning@gmail.com. I will attach that underneath. If you've enjoyed the video, do please subscribe. Also, can I ask, nobody is under any obligation, but I do have a Kofi account, which basically means, with Kofi, which means that you can purchase me a coffee to say thank you for all the free content, and that is very gratefully received, I have to say, and I have to stress that. So thank you very much. Anything else that I talk about, like the ABC verbs, like using de, like using these things, are covered in the are covered in the grammar podcasts. Can I quickly remind you that the videos that I do are as and when I get asked questions, or the earlier videos were because of the people that I was teaching then, different people at different levels. So if you wanted a course from the beginning, explaining everything from the start, then the podcasts are for you. I will attach a video about those underneath and you can purchase those very easily, and I will send you the whole G drive containing all of those podcasts. Okay, so I hope this is useful. Do please click like if it's been useful. I will see you in the Sunday live chat. Take care, all the best.